What is going on, everyone? We are here with another episode of the ACK Spotlight series. Today, kind of mixing it up. I know I've been doing a little bit of country, a little bit of pop, but we got some hip hop rap today. Definitely been a fan of him for a while. We kind of have a mutual friend, Josh Huie. Shout out to him, and that's kind of how I found him and stuff like that. And we got Jones here today. Jones, what's going on, man? How are you?
Going good, man. It's going good. How are you?
And not too bad, not too bad at all. It's been going through the interviews today. It's been crazy meeting a lot of new artists, and obviously we've talked a lot um, over the last few years or so, and like we're no stranger to each other, so we kind of know each other a little bit. But it's cool for
Yeah.
the people to some of my fans and stuff to actually see you. You were in my first showcase that I actually when I was doing my showcases back last year during COVID and stuff like that.
Yeah. Thanks for making me part of that.
No, of course. I was thrilled to have you on there, and just I'm a big fan of your music, and like every time you release something new, I'm always just jamming out to it.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
No, of course. So kind of before we get into the whole interview and before I start tossing you some questions, is why don't you just tell the people a little bit about who you are, just for those that don't know.
Yeah. So I go by the name Jones. It's easy to remember if you know me because that's my last name. But yeah, I go by Jones. Live in Tennessee, Chattanooga to be more specific. But yeah, I'm always kind of all over the place. But yeah, I just make music, man. That's what I do.
Yeah.
It's what I do. It's what I love. Um, so yeah, man, that's a little about me.
No, absolutely. No, and I mean, I know your passion for music and stuff like that. Like you definitely just from your songs and stuff like that, you can just tell all your you put a lot of time and effort and like heart and dedication into what you especially what you write too. I feel like a lot of your stuff really comes from like the heart and stuff like that. So I really connect with a lot of what you do.
Good. Yeah, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
So kind of getting into the first question is like how did you get into music? Like where did it all start for you? Like what really made you kind of get into like the rap and just stuff like that? Like how did like the whole music thing evolve for you?
Yeah, so music was something that really I kind of fell into kind of by accident. Just kind of a, kind of a, I don't even know the right way to put this. Not a not a victim of circumstance, but it's just kind of where I was. Grew up with not really a lot at all. And so, I just kind of the area that I lived in, music was always being played, especially rap. And so, I just, the first time I heard it, I just kind of fell in love with it kind of instantly, just because, I think my first thought was, how do they even say that much? Like, on one song, that's insane to me. But
Exactly.
it was just something that I heard and just kind of knew from the day that I heard it that this is the kind of music that I connect with. This is how I can, express myself.
Mhm.
And I'm always, I've always been kind of a quiet person, really kind of an introvert. And so this was just kind of a way that I could say all the things that I was feeling, that I was thinking, in a way that I could express myself. And that was through music. Um, and so
Yeah. No,
yeah,
and I definitely relate to that. Just because that's just like you were just saying, is just like it was easy for you to kind of like to use as like an outlet and like you just really connected with it. And
yeah,
that's what I do a lot of. Like, I mean, I lean toward more toward like I listen to everything, but I lean more toward like country music and stuff like that because that's what was always playing in the house and like that's just what I grew up on. And then when I like write and stuff like that, it just comes from emotions a lot of the time, and it's
Yeah.
easy and helps express myself and just stuff like that. And I can really feel that in a lot of your lyrics and stuff like that. For people that don't know him, definitely go check him out because he's a talented lyricist. Yeah, if I can speak today, not speak. It's been a long day, but
Yeah.
no, but like I definitely feel like what you're saying with that, and you just like connected with everything like in the rap genre and just stuff like that. So
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of kind of touching up on like inspirations and stuff like that. Like who are some of your inspirations like in the music industry, and like did you really have anyone kind of in your life like family wise that like inspired you to really get out there and do it, or was it just more of like a you thing?
It was more just a me thing.
Mhm.
I am, kind of in my family. Like I'm the the music guy.
Mhm.
Um, nobody really said, "Hey, go pursue this music," and I mean, a lot of a lot of what I was told was this really isn't going anywhere. Don't do this. Go get a real job. You know, but no, man. As far as like influences go, I mean, I know there's all different kinds of everybody's got their own styles of hip hop and all that, but I'm really heavy into the lyricism side of it. All the wordplay metaphors, and so some of the people that really inspired me were people like the Jay-Z's, like the Tupacs, like the as I got a little bit older, like the early
Yeah.
Kanye.
Mhm.
Of course, you know,
Yeah.
the Eminem, he definitely inspired me,
Mhm.
just because of where in all honesty, where I grew up and the environment that I was growing up in,
Mhm. Yeah.
that just kind of showed me, okay, I can do this too.
Right.
Um, and I mean nowadays, you got your Royce to 5 9s. I mean, you got your Lupes, you got NF. I like him a lot too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm just real heavy into the lyricism side of rap.
No, and that's awesome. And that's like what I always say is like when I'm doing interviews and stuff like that, I feel like a lot of the artists that I bring on bring in that like real storytelling vibe when they write. Like it doesn't matter what genre you're in. It doesn't matter if you're in country, if you're in pop, if you're in rap. Like at the end of the day, all these artists like that I talk to a lot are all big on the storytelling. Like they want to tell that story, they want to give it to the people. Like for just like reading a book or putting a puzzle together, like when you're writing and you want to put those pieces together, you want to give them the beginning, middle and end. And I've just
Yeah,
always been really big on like that whole storytelling vibe because if I can write a song that can help someone else down the line, that's a big goal of mine as well, is to just help other people through my words and just stuff like that. Because lyrics can, a lot of people don't understand how powerful lyrics can be sometimes. They'll just listen to a song and they'll be like, oh, wow, this is a cool song. Like they'll just be head bopping to it or singing it. But then sometimes you really sit down and like think about some of those lyrics behind it. And like these people are talking about a lot of heavy stuff. And
yeah,
it's cool. And that's what connects with me a lot too.
yeah, man. Like I mean, just to kind of touch on that, like a
Yeah.
saying that I've kind of had. I'm not real sure where it came from. I'm sure I heard it somewhere because I
Mhm.
don't think I'm cool enough to make it up. But saying that I've said for years now is, everybody's got a story and
Mhm.
stories are meant to be told.
Exactly.
So tell yours because nobody can tell your story better than you can.
No,
Um,
exactly.
I mean, yeah, so I mean, like you said, I think a lot of times people underestimate the power of lyrics and what people are saying. And I mean, you never know that what you're saying, it might be exactly what somebody else is going through, and that can help them, you know.
Exactly. So it's just like it's just really cool because like that's like a lot of the artists that I connect with are just the ones that really have that storytelling vibe and just have like put those raw emotions into their lyrics and stuff like that. Because I'm always big on the lyrics behind songs.
Yeah.
So speaking of lyrics and speaking of songs and stuff like that, that kind of leads us right into the next question is because you have a lot of songs out there. Like you're always like pumping songs out there and like you have a story behind each one. And but
Yeah.
like how does the whole process work for you? Like does it start like with the beat? Like does it start with some lyrics and then the beat? Like what is your whole creative process like when it comes to forming a song?
Yeah. So like I am literally always writing,
Mm.
like always. I mean, I can't tell you how many notebooks and pieces of just whatever I can write on just everywhere and, in my phone. And so it, I'm always writing just different thoughts down, just different, lines that I might think of that may, come in later into a song. But a lot of times, a lot of the songs I write, it does kind of start with music in a lot of ways. So like I'll hear a beat and it might, make me feel a certain emotion that I can, write to. And a lot of times what I'll do is, I kind of like it'll hit me, I really want to write about this or how I feel about this or that or this topic. Um, and so, like I said, I'll be writing like ideas about that down, but it's really the music that will, hit me and then kind of fuel that a little bit more.
Mhm.
And so then I can take the emotion from the music and start applying a lot of these ideas that I've been having. Um, and a lot of times the ideas that I write down, and sometimes those never even really make it to, the mic when I go to record, but they just inspire new new lyrics to go with that beat.
No, exactly. And like I totally get that. I mean, because like I have stuff written down that like would never like go on to a full song and stuff like that. And it's just like I filled up more trash barrels with notes and just like random lines and stuff like that. So like I totally get that. But it's always just cool to ask that question because it doesn't matter what genre you're in. It's just everyone has like that different style and like their different process when they go to write a song. Like some people like just start with the melody and then they can work off of that. But then some people, like I know like myself, like I'll just be like at work or like I'll be in the shower or I'll be like out with some friends at like a bar or something. And all of a sudden these lines or like a couple of words start coming to me. So like I jot it down on my phone, little voice memos. I know you probably are definitely doing some of that as well. So
Yeah, yeah, like, and you never know when it's gonna hit you. Like either that's kind of the blessing and the curse of it. Like I can be like out running like somewhere,
yeah.
and something hits me, and I got absolutely nothing to write it down on. So you just like repeat the line over and over and over and over to yourself until you can.
Yep.
So yeah, I get it.
No, yeah, that's always a big thing for me is like always just jotting it down because like even me, like I'm only 24, but like short term memory loss over years, like I'll remember something and I'll be like, oh, shit. Like that's why I have to like write it down right away because then I'll forget like
Yeah,
exactly how it went and I'll be like, if I don't write it down, then who knows what will
yeah,
happen with it.
yeah. Same,
Yeah,
same.
so getting into the fourth question. Everyone knows I always like to talk about this question before we actually start the interview because it is a very hard question. And like it's my favorite question by far because it really shows who people are as an artist. And obviously last year, I always hate talking about it, but like last year with COVID and stuff like that, people were in lockdowns and a lot of people from all genres, from rap to country to pop, like they were really pushing themselves like on TikTok, on Instagram, and just all kinds of social medias. And there's been a lot of new up and coming artists out there. But what would you say, like with people like kind of in your lane and like similarities and stuff like that? Like, but what would you say makes you stand out? Like, what makes Jones Jones?
Yeah. So what makes me me, I think is just this, sense and almost this responsibility that I feel like I have to just be authentic and to just be real. I base my whole everything, my whole purpose of doing this music. I got a song called The Ones, right? And the chorus is, this is for the ones like me. And that's what everything is based on. That's really why I'm doing this, because I feel like growing up, I went through, I mean, you name it, I've probably been through it. Just really, really hard times, and not understanding why I felt ways that I did, why I was going through certain struggles. I dealt with a lot of loss, a lot of heartache, trauma in a lot of ways, that I talk about in my music. And so, I mean, addiction was obviously, I talk about that a lot in my music. It played a big part in my life. And so, the biggest thing for me was I never talked about it. I never asked for help. I never tried to work all this stuff out. And it just led me down a lot of really bad roads. And so that's kind of why I I rap about the things that I rap about, and I write about what I write about, to be like, I know there's so many people that have been through the exact same things like me,
Yeah.
ones like me who, maybe if I talk about this, maybe if I share all these different experiences, you know, like I'm doing,
Mhm.
that, maybe it'll help somebody. Maybe it'll inspire somebody. Maybe it'll help somebody talk, about it. Maybe it'll help that person decide, I want to get sober, or it'll, help that person, try to go for these goals that they've been too scared to, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And so that's why I say I make music for the ones like me.
Right.
um but I think I try to be as authentic and vulnerable as I can in my music. And I really try to make a point, to say I'm definitely, even though I'm rapping about this stuff, where I have been, I still struggle.
Yeah.
um I still go through a lot that I'm still trying to work out, but that's okay. It's okay to not be, it's okay to not be okay.
Right.
um and so that's kind of what I try to, what I try to, it's the message that I'm trying to get out in this music. So that's kind of what makes me me.
No, and no, I totally relate to that, and like I get that. Just because like I always touch up on it is 2018. That's when I wrote my first ever song about my grandfather passing away and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
when I wrote that, like I also now thinking about it, like I played it for a family friend a few months back. We were at a party and stuff, and like he didn't really know I was into the songwriting and stuff like that, and he had never heard the song, and then he'd listened to it, and right after he listened to it, he's like, my father just passed away like a couple of weeks ago, and he's like, if I had heard that song then, he's like, that would have helped me in so many different ways. I would have had that playing at the funeral and just stuff like that. So it like really hit me different because I knew someone else out there appreciated that and was going through that, and that song kind of helped him out a little bit. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so it's just it's really powerful what people can do with their music, and if, like I said, if eventually if it can help someone else down the road, then that's good enough for me, because that's kind of what my goal is as a songwriter.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
No, exactly. So kind of getting into the last question here before we listen to something from you is, what are your goals as an artist? Like, where do you want to go with your music, and what else can we expect down the road from you?
Yeah. So I mean, as an artist, man, I just want to keep just making the music that I want to make. I just want to keep trying to help people, to inspire people. I mean, that's really my goal, and to just keep doing this thing that I love so much. I mean, every artist, of course, wants as many people as they can to hear their music. I mean, that's duh. Um, but if you're, I just kind of feel like it doesn't matter how many people hear it if you're not doing it for the right reason, and you're not making an impact, positive impact with it. So that's kind of just what I want to be as an artist. Just want to keep getting better at what I do. I got a lot of stuff coming down the road. A lot of a lot of new music coming down the road. But just I mean, near term, we got a song coming out August 27th with a just insanely talented artist. Her name's Elena Cross. She lives in Nashville. So yeah, so that's gonna be a really powerful song, I think, called Sinking. But yeah, and then some other features in the works. Writing music for TV film placements right now. Um, so yeah, man, just a lot of music coming.
No, and that's awesome. And that's like one of my things about you that I love is that you're always releasing new stuff. Like you're always on top of it. And like I said, that just kind of goes back to all your hard work and time and dedication is just that you want people to hear that new music and just get it out there. And that's what I love, is that you're just pumping it all out there. And for those of you that don't know him, go check out every song that man has out, because I guarantee you probably won't you'll like every single one of them. I guarantee you that. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Well,
So
thanks.
obviously getting into the fun part now that all the questions are done with, is I'm going to play a little bit of a newer song of yours that you just released recently, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So when did you really if you want to just kind of tell people a little bit about this one, like real quick, like kind of like what the name is, how it kind of came about real quick, and then
Yeah, so I guess a couple weeks ago, I guess I released a new song called Circus. Um, and so this all just kind of came from this idea around, I've just got so, you said yourself, I'm always writing, I'm always doing all this stuff. I've just got so many different thoughts and just different things going on inside of my head that it never stops. And so, it's all just one big just circus, and the thoughts just never stop. And it's kind of like that saying, that they have for like circuses and show business, the show must go on. And so, this show going on in here goes on whether I want it to or not. And so that's kind of what the original thought behind this song was, and then that paired with, this whole, everybody acts like a lot of artists these days have to have some gimmick or something to get their name out there. And so that's I'm kind of saying no, you don't really have to have that. So those are kind of the 2 points of this song, but it's just a really fun, I think, just a really fun song,
awesome.
based around this whole idea of this crazy circus.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I said, I can't wait to get into this. If you don't mind just putting yourself on mute or turning your volume down just so there's no audio feedback or anything like that. And we might as well get kicking with Circus by Jones.
My mind is a circus, but there ain't no hocus pocus. Show goes on and it don't stop as I stay focused. Don't accept new ways, my circle's tighter than the rope is. Got some tricks up my sleeve, might be wilder than the show is. Gravity waves for these, like I'm on a blind trapeze. I see these other MCs, hoping I fall so I bleed. There's a key they don't see, a hidden secret in me. I'm not swinging all these bars before they catch up to me. Hurry, hurry, I'm in a big time. If chaos is, I don't get lost. Better move quick, get your tickets, you won't get ripped off, better watch. If you gon' complain, you'll get ejected, you can get crushed. It's my show, that's how it goes. Sit back, relax, and be all. It bugs me, too gifted. This real life, it ain't scripted. I'm so sick with the spit, although I got my need a prescription. I'm the dome, harder in the ratings. Target killing your kidneys. I'm making them almost, I'm coming to the top when I get that rope on the ceiling.
That's wild. I love that, man. Like it's just like, yeah, I think like even like you said, I think it was in the earlier question, like at the very beginning, like before you kind of got into rap, like you were wondering how like they were able to like spit so fast and stuff like that. Like I still like when I listen to you, like I still try to figure it out. I'm like, how can you do it that fast? Like it's crazy to me. And like I wish I had that talent because it's cool and I vibe with it a lot.
Oh, well, cool. Thanks, man. Thanks,
No,
man.
of course. So for people that don't know, definitely please go check that out. That's Circus. That is his latest release. He has a lot of cool songs out, like I said. And just kind of before I do my little outro here, where can we find you? Like what's all your social media tags and stuff like that? And I'm assuming all your music's out on like Spotify, Amazon, Apple
Yeah,
Music and stuff.
yeah. All my music is out everywhere: Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Tidal. But I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and it's the same handle for everything. It's at Jones Raps. So yeah, you can find me anywhere under that handle.
Perfect, man. And again, thank you so much for coming on and doing this and taking the time. I appreciate it. I know all my fans will be excited, and I just can't wait to hear some more music from you down the road.
All right, man. Well, thanks. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, no problem. So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes another episode of the Spotlight interview series hosted by yours truly, ACK. You know the drill. Every Sunday, new interview. I'll see you all next week. Thanks for tuning in.